The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams is the first book in the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy. Simon, a young kitchen scullion in the royal castle of Hayholt, is drawn into a sprawling conflict as the realm teeters on the brink of chaos after the death of King Prester John. An ancient power stirs and a malevolent force arises. Simon embarks on a perilous journey to recover 3 mystical swords, including the titular Dragonbone Chair, key to halting the dark tide. Through his struggles, Simon evolves from an innocent boy to a reluctant hero amidst richly designed settings and intricate political and magical intrigue.
On this day of days, there was an unfamiliar stirring deep inside the dozing heart of the Hayholt, in the castle's bewildering warren of quiet passages and overgrown, ivy-choked courtyards, in the monks' holes and damp, shadowed chambers. Courtiers and servants alike goggled and whispered. Scullions exchanged significant glances across the washing tubs in the steamy kitchen. Hushed conversations seemed to be taking place in every hallway and dooryard of the great keep. It might have been the first day of spring, to judge from the air of breathless anticipation. But the great calendar in Dr. Morgain's cluttered chamber showed differently. The month was only November. Autumn was holding the door, and winter was trudging in.
The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams was first published in October of 1988 and is the opening volume of the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy, a similar work in modern epic fantasy. Known for its length and complexity, the series' final installment, To Green Angel's Tower, was so expansive that it had to be split into 2 volumes for its paperback issue. Widely credited as a major influence on contemporary fantasy, it inspired authors like George R. R. Martin to praise its intricate world-building and character-driven storytelling. Decades later, Williams returned to the world of Osten Ard with the Last King of the Osten Ard series, beginning with the Witchwood Crown in 2017, continuing the story for longtime fans while inviting new readers into its richly developed realms. Tad Williams' The Dragonbone Chair is a must-read for its rich world-building and classic hero journey. The author crafts an immersive fantasy realm filled with intricate lore, memorable characters, and a blend of political and magical intrigue that captivates readers. At its heart is Simon's transformation from a humble kitchen boy to the central figure in an epic struggle, offering a compelling and relatable coming-of-age story that resonates deeply for fans of traditional fantasy. Now let's see what the Deep Dive crew has to say about the Dragonbone Chair. Buckle up.
Buckle up, folks. We're about to journey to the magical world of Osten Ard.
To Osten Ard!
Yeah, today we're taking a deep dive into the first part of Tad Williams' epic fantasy, The Dragonbone Chair.
The Dragonbone Chair.
Yes, it's the book that kicks off his Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series.
It's the first one.
It is, and let me tell you, it's the kind of story that pulls you in and doesn't let go.
It really is a page turner.
Oh yeah.
And the best part is we're keeping this deep dive completely spoiler-free.
Spoiler-free.
Think of it as a glimpse into a world full of magic, mystery, and adventure. Just enough to make you want to grab the book and experience it for yourself.
Exactly. So imagine a sprawling castle called the Hayholt.
Okay.
Nestled in the heart of the Osten Ard kingdom. But this isn't your typical medieval setting.
Right.
We're talking ancient races, whispers of magic, and a history that's both beautiful and brutal.
Yeah, you know, what's intriguing is how Williams sets the stage.
Okay.
We learn about the Sith, these enigmatic beings who are far more complex than your average elves.
I was going to say, they're not your typical elves.
No.
These are different.
They have a deep connection to the land.
Yeah.
A long history interwoven with humanities and powers that hint at something ancient and almost mystical.
Right. And then there are the Rimmersmen, fierce warriors from the north.
Yeah.
Who once conquered the city and now seem to be stirring again.
That's right.
So like there's this undercurrent of tension, a feeling that something big is about to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's where our main character, Simon, comes in.
Simon?
He's a kitchen scullion at the Hayholt. Not your typical hero material.
He's not. He's more like that kid in the back of the class daydreaming and getting into trouble.
Oh, totally. But Simon's also incredibly curious.
Yeah.
He's hungry for knowledge, always asking questions, poking his nose into things he probably shouldn't.
Always getting into trouble.
And that curiosity leads him to Dr. Morginus,
Dr. Morginus.
the castle doctor and scholar.
Yeah.
Now, Morginus is a fascinating character, bit of a mentor to Simon.
He's a storyteller.
Yes.
A keeper of history. And through these conversations with Simon, we start to uncover the secrets of Osten Ard.
Okay.
We hear about the ancient conflict between the Scythi and humanity,
Right.
the rise of the Rimmersmen, and the prophecies that hint at a coming darkness.
It's like Morginus is giving us these puzzle pieces,
Rise.
glimpses into a past that's directly connected to the present.
Yes.
And it makes you want to figure out how it all fits together.
It's a very good way to put it.
And just when you think you're starting to get a handle on things, boom,
Boom.
the plot thickens. King John Presbyter, the ruler of Osten Ard, is dying.
Oh no.
And there's all this tension surrounding his two sons,
his two sons.
Elias and Joshua.
Yes.
Right. And then Joshua disappears,
What?
vanishes without a trace.
That's not good.
And Simon, bless his curious heart, stumbles upon evidence suggesting that something isn't right.
Yeah.
It's like a medieval mystery with danger lurking around every corner.
And this is where Simon's journey really takes off.
Okay.
With Morginus gone.
Oh,
And the castle no longer safe. He's forced to flee.
he's on the run.
He's on the run. He encounters all sorts of intriguing characters along the way.
Koiku.
Well, a mysterious hermit,
Okay.
a helpful troll,
I love trolls.
and even a princess
Ooh, a princess.
caught in the middle of the brewing conflict.
So it's kind of like a motley crew.
It is.
He's gonna get to hang out with.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a wild ride through dark forests, hidden cities, and whispers of ancient magic.
It's a classic fantasy setup, right?
It is.
And through it all, Simon starts to realize that he's not just a simple Scullion anymore.
That's right.
He's being pulled into a destiny he never could have imagined.
And that's what makes this first part of the Dragonbone Chair so captivating.
Okay.
It's a coming-of-age story.
Yeah.
Set against this epic backdrop of political intrigue, ancient prophecies, and a world on the brink of war.
It's like someone took all the best elements of classic fantasy,
Yes.
added a dash of mystery and suspense, and then threw in some truly memorable characters.
And we're just scratching the surface here.
Boy.
The first part of the Dragonbone Chair really sets the stage for an incredible adventure.
Wow.
It leaves you wanting more, needing to know what happens next.
And what's really cool is how the excerpts we have reveal these layers of the world, especially when it comes to the Scythi.
Yeah.
They aren't just these mystical beings, they are deeply connected to the land, to the very essence of Osten Ard.
It's fascinating how their culture is so intertwined with nature. Think about that scene where Benedict, the troll traveling with Simon, talks about the Scythi creation myth.
Right.
It's not just a story, it's a reflection of their beliefs, their reverence for the balance of life and death.
And you start to understand their grief,
Right.
their loss after being driven from their lands by humanity.
Yeah.
It adds a whole new dimension to the conflict brewing in Osten Ard. You see both sides of the story. The human desire for expansion and the Scythi longing for their lost home.
And this brings us to another intriguing element,
Okay.
the Uden tree.
Uden tree.
It's mentioned in passing by one of the Rimmersmen,
Right.
but it's clearly more than just an old tale.
Okay.
This legendary tree of ice seems to be tied to ancient prophecies and perhaps even the fate of Osten Ard itself.
And remember how Simon keeps having these strange visions of a white tree?
Yes,
These flashes of memory that he can't quite grasp?
like it's calling to him.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant use of foreshadowing,
Okay.
hinting at Simon's connection to the Scythi and the larger forces at play.
Uh-huh.
And these hints build towards that incredible moment when he finally reaches the Scythi city, Jiao Itinukai.
Jiao Itinukai.
Yeah,
That description is breathtaking.
I know, it's beautiful.
It's like the city is an extension of the forest itself, a place where nature and architecture blend seamlessly. Even though it's been abandoned for centuries, you can almost feel this ancient energy pulsing through its streets and towers.
It's a reminder that the past isn't truly gone. It echoes through the present, shaping the destinies of those who inhabit Osten Ard.
Wow.
And as Simon journeys through this abandoned city, you get the sense that he's not just exploring ruins, he's uncovering secrets that could change everything.
But it's not just about ancient cities and mystical beings.
That's right.
The excerpts also give us a glimpse into the growing tension among the human factions themselves.
Oh, yes.
Elias and his brother Joshua.
Uh-huh.
Their relationship is strained, full of suspicion and a hunger for power.
Yes. And we see how this power struggle is tearing the kingdom apart.
Yeah.
Remember that scene in Elias's throne room?
Oh, yeah.
The way Earl Guthwolf, the king's hand, comments on Elias's haggard appearance, the strange sword he carries?
Yes.
It's clear that Elias is consumed by paranoia, obsessed with finding Joshua and consolidating his rule.
And then there's that scene with Towser, the jester,
Oh,
recounting the tale of the sword's discovery. Remember how Elias refused to keep it,
yeah.
claiming it was a relic of the past?
A relic of the past.
It's a subtle detail,
It is.
but it reveals so much about his character,
Yeah.
his ambition, his desire to break free from tradition.
It's a fascinating contrast to Shozua,
Okay.
who seems to embody the more compassionate, idealistic side of leadership.
Okay.
He's struggling to hold on to his humanity amidst the chaos and betrayal.
Makes you wonder, who is the rightful king?
It does.
What kind of future does each brother offer Osten Ard?
That is the question.
Caught in the middle of all this is Miriam, Elias's daughter.
Miriam.
She's more than just a pawn in this Game of Thrones. She has her own strength, her own secrets.
Yeah.
Remember that scene where Simon meets her at Naglymund?
At Naglymund.
There's this spark between them, this sense that their fates are intertwined.
It adds this whole other layer to the story, this hint of romance blossoming amidst the shadows of war.
A little forbidden romance. And it makes you realize that even in the darkest of times, there's still room for hope,
Yes.
for connection.
And with that, we reach the end of the second part of the Dragonbone Chair. A whirlwind of discoveries, betrayals, and a growing sense that something epic is about to unfold.
It is a whirlwind.
What's fascinating is how Williams weaves together these different threads.
Okay.
The ancient mysteries, the political intrigue, and the personal journeys of the characters,
Good.
creating a tapestry that's both complex and utterly captivating.
And things take a dramatic turn in these final excerpts.
A dramatic turn.
We've got Simon and Benedict heading north. They've met up with the Rimmersmen.
Right.
But then this whole other layer of the conflict emerges.
It's like peeling back layers of an onion.
Right.
Each revelation more startling than the last.
And this is where Jarnoga, the hermit Simon encounters, drops a bombshell.
A bombshell.
He reveals the truth about the Storm King.
Oh, the Storm King.
This ancient entity imprisoned for centuries.
Wow.
And it turns out that Elias, the king, might actually be connected to this entity's awakening.
No way.
Talk about a game changer.
That's a big one.
Suddenly, the conflict between Elias and Joshua feels almost insignificant compared to this ancient evil threatening to engulf Osten Ard.
It really puts things into perspective.
It does.
What's striking is how Williams uses prophecy to weave this sense of dread, of impending doom.
Yeah, those lines, I remember those lines.
And remember those lines? The grave of Ninaizu wears a mantle of flowers. The shadowed brook silent, and no one there grieves. Where are they gone? Now the woods are all silence. Where are they gone? The song vanished away.
Chills, literal chills.
That's haunting.
They are haunting, and they speak to this deep sense of loss, like the land itself is mourning something ancient and irreplaceable.
And as this ancient evil stirs, Simon's role in everything becomes clearer.
Okay.
He's plagued by visions of a gray sword, a weapon tied to the Storm King.
Right.
It's as if he's being pulled toward a destiny he doesn't understand. And we see him grappling with that, trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah, and his connection to Dr. Morginus becomes even more significant.
Yes.
Remember how we learned that Morginus had sent a message with Bambic
With Benedict,
asking his master to help Simon?
like he knew.
It's like Morginus knew what Simon was destined for, even if Simon didn't.
There's this sense that forces beyond Simon's control are shaping his path,
Yeah,
guiding him toward a confrontation he can't avoid.
and then we have that intense confrontation between Elias and Joshua at Naglymund.
At Naglymund.
It's a standoff, a clash of wills.
Oh, wow.
And Elias's demand for his daughter, Miriam just adds another layer of complexity to the situation. What's fascinating is how we see both brothers' motivations.
Right.
Their flaws and desires. Elias, consumed by paranoia and ambition.
And Joshua.
And Joshua, trying desperately to hold on to his compassion in the face of war.
And then the Norns attack.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Norns.
These terrifying creatures from the north descend on Naglymund.
So they kind of interrupt this whole brotherly battle.
They do, and the excerpts really capture the chaos and brutality of that battle.
It's a desperate fight for survival. And in the midst of it all, Simon has this pivotal moment.
Okay.
He uses the Scythian arrow, the Staja An,
Anastasia aimed.
to save Prince Jariki's life.
Wow.
It's an act of pure courage, And it speaks to Simon's growing understanding of his own potential.
Yeah.
And that act changes his relationship with Jariki.
How so?
Remember how Jariki gives Simon the arrow back, saying he has to earn it?
Right.
A life for a life?
It's a bond forged between them, a sense of shared purpose.
And then just when you think Simon might be safe,
Oh,
he's swept away by the storm,
quite a star.
separated from his friend,
What?
alone in enemy territory.
That's a cliffhanger.
Talk about a wild ride.
It is a wild ride.
This deep dive into the Dragonbone Chair has been full of twists and turns.
Yes.
We've got political intrigue, ancient magic, epic battles, and characters you can't help but root for.
What I find so compelling is how this first book sets the stage for something even grander.
Okay.
It's just the beginning of an epic saga, a tale that spans continents and delves into the deepest mysteries of Osten Ard.
And we're left with this thought. Simon, who started as a lowly kitchen scullion, is becoming something more.
Right.
He's being shaped by these incredible events, thrust into a role he never could have imagined.
And it makes you wonder, what will he become?
It does.
What awaits him in the next chapter of this adventure?
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but one thing's for sure.
What's that?
Tad Williams has created a world and a story that will stay with you long after you finish the last page.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking for a fantasy series that's epic in scope, rich in detail, and full of heart, the Dragonbone Chair is definitely worth checking out.
It is.
I highly recommend it.
And who knows, maybe we'll revisit Osten Ard in a future deep dive.
Maybe we will.
Until then, happy reading.